fantastic day of flyering today. I probably gave out about 500 flyers on the beach and had some fantastic conversations, including with a man about. It was interesting because I was talking about a flat Earth, and and most times I speak to African people about the flat Earth. If I get to that part of the conversation with them, that the waters are level and we can't measure any movement here, they go, yeah, that kind of, yeah, I never really bought into the gravity thing all that much. But today I was debating with an older African gentleman, black guy, and he was batting for the ball, man, totally. So that was kind of fun. We had a little sparring session, lasted about 10 minutes. I do wish some of this was on camera. So I felt, coming away from the beach today, I felt a bit kind of gutted at my few hours of phenomenal, really. I had, today being Sunday, beach is very full. The weather was nice after having had a few days of not such good weather. So beach was quite full. And Africans, when it's on the weekend, they have a habit of, some of them anyway, of enjoying a bit of booze down on the beachfront. So I encountered some slightly drunk guys who, for them, in a crowd of black Africans down on their beach, as it were, a white guy coming into the group or whatever is not always received very well. But I think without exception, within a minute, maybe 3 minutes, the guys are all listening, really paying attention, giving me the knuckles or the thanks, God be with you, or whatever. A guy even gave me 2 rand. These cost about 40 cents each, so that's 5 of them. But that was just a fantastic day of that. A young man said to me, I've never really wanted to take any idea of God or anything like that seriously, but after hearing you talk, I spoke to him directly for a few minutes. He's like, that really touched me, and it's made me feel a way I never felt before, which reminded me of the gentleman down in, I think his name was Richard, down in Cape Town. When I had a conversation with him, the car guard, 60-year-old man, he said, my heart is feeling warm. I haven't felt like this for many, many years, and none of the preachers I've heard speak have made me feel as good as this does. So yeah, it's good information, I think, and it kind of is touching people, and that's really something and I do wish I was getting some of this on more of this on camera, but it's already people are a little suspect, and when you're walking around with a camera and so on. Police car pulled up as I was walking along the promenade. They do patrol along there. Told me to stop flyering, and I politely told him I don't recognize the authority that he's operating under. I'm not selling anything. I'm just giving people information. As far as I know, we live in a world in which the free exchange of information is still permitted. He drove off without another word. I wasn't wearing the nappy. People say, when they say that, I ask them what's the nappy thing about. For a lot of them, it's because they're threatened. They feel threatened that if they don't, they will get grief. They've seen videos of people getting into trouble from the authorities. And this is the clever mind game, because in reality, the homeless guys tell me they get a bit of grief from the police if they're not covered up. But I haven't been asked but once at a roadblock about that, actually, and I haven't bothered with it. But a black lady said to me today, it is because you're white. I said, no, because actually there's loads of black people I see walking up and down the beach without it, and it really, at the end of the day, as it says in my flyer, it is your basic God-given right to choose to perform any act upon yourself, and the covering of the breath is an act, and it's up for the individual to choose whether that act is an act of harm or goodwill and good gesture, but an act of harm. And I can't talk too much about these things. You know how these sorts of conversations are verboten in 1935 Nazi world. So so I'm stumbling a little bit because it's, you know, you've got to self censor. But yeah, so all in all, good, really good, and probably could have done a little bit more. But Alexander and Zizi and Andrea were wanting to come off the beach, and so that was that. But I thought I would share that with you guys. There's a limited number of people that are seeing the videos at the moment. I heard Bob from Globebusters saying his view count has been sorely hit. So you know, it's you know, if a channel like that is, you know, losing large numbers of viewers, you know, there's something slippery going on in the back room, and it probably involves a cucumber. Speaking about Australian accents, I just want to put it out there to my friends in Australia that dang, I know other countries that I'm not as well connected to are probably suffering similar sorts of tyrannical stuff, but isn't it bizarre how if you go into some people's news feed or Facebook feed or whatever, their life isn't actually that affected by it, you know, or rather they've just sort of gone, okay, this is it, off we go, you know, we'll carry on, and they're not seeing, you know, what I'm seeing, which is that, you know, people are massing in large numbers and being treated pretty shoddily, and of course not being listened to, because, you know, they can't. That's not the intention. I mean, is this growing mass going to be used, critical mass going to be used to bring about the seismic implosion of everything, that the structures and so on, transfer, or, you know, everything, and then fiat currency becomes worthless, and then digital currency, all of a sudden all this life that guys have been pumping into the digital currency comes to the flower, and now everybody must use that, and if you can't use that, you can't buy in the regular stores. I'm being a little dramatic, I don't mean to be, but it does feel to me like you know, Australia's got that two-tier system in place already. In some places, you know, in some elements, not all of it and not everywhere, of course, but we know that this is part of the trick, isn't it? Is that they need people condensed into these conurbations so that level of oversight is possible. Well, as I say to the dudes here, you know, maybe you've got to be finding a way out of the cities and back to the land, back to nature, back to God. Yeah, anyway, I should have started this video with this request, because I don't know how many people get to the end of my videos. Don't mean to be like a downer on all of that, but, you know, the truth is it's you know, it has been constrained one way or another, and whether that's the words I'm using or just the algorithms and people moving to other platforms and so on and so forth, it is what it is. But guys, I'm having phenomenal traction on the ground here. I mean, I say that with the caveat that, can I actually translate that into people taking sovereignty, people saying, oh, so this globe thing is a lie too, and as well as the crown business, you know, so how does that translate? At this point in time, I can't quantify that, honestly. I can't quantify that, but it feels to me like if you start little fires, then guys like Doodoo and these other guys that you touch, and other people who, you know, sometimes their eyes light up and they're like, ooh, some of those people are going to share that information or use that information in a powerful way and begin to shape their own environment with new information, new world information, because it does feel to me like if there's a change coming, they want people to go through the change without ever realizing those truths, which is why the truth community is important. And I wonder whether, you know, when I walk around here, people know so little. So a guy mentioned the word Jesuit the other day to me. So, you know, that's a level of inner standing, I suppose. But in the main, people are completely in the dark here with regards to the extent of it. They've been so focused on survival and corruption in government is a big deal here. The last president has 700 charges laid against him, and that's also obviously, I think, a bunch of theater. So people's minds are not on, well, is it possible that even, all the establishment, because we were all brought up in South Africa to venerate the establishment, the royal family. When I was a kid, 20 years old, traveled to England, I found that the locals in England didn't venerate the royals like we did, out here in the colony. And that's all programming, of course, our history, the placement of these characters and their importance and their value. Yeah. So where was I going with that thread? The point is, I think that the people here are actually ripe for things like flat Earth. Now, I don't mean the Europeans so much. The ego is so entrenched in the phenomenal education, because it is a good education system. It's obviously just designed for purposes other than what we think are humanitarian ideals of excellence and wanting to get to Mars and all that business, improve society, humanity. So I'm losing my thread once more, and I do apologize for that. So humanity has been missold a bunch of goods, and people do not. I've completely lost my thread there. I don't want to stop this video, so I just want to make it in one hit. And right at the end there, I'm just asking for some help, actually, I suppose, because I kind of hit the end of the road here with the finances, and I want to continue doing this at least for a few months more. I mean, I can't guarantee South Africa is a long-term stop for me. It hasn't, yet materialized in a way that I can guarantee anything. And perhaps it would be churlish at this time in the world happenings to be bogged down in some certain elements of that. So I'm not looking to, make a plea for long-term funding. I think what I'm looking for is the ability to maybe use the summer that's coming here in South Africa and that good weather where people are, unless they get locked down after these elections that are coming tomorrow, it is to use my energy to reach a far greater number of people, do it with maybe like maybe put some stickers on a car. I've yet to secure a car, but that may or may not come to pass. If it comes to pass, it'll be in the next few weeks, and then from there I will want to put some stickers on it and a few more flyers, maybe one or two different flyers, and also hit it in Zulu and Xhosa, some other languages here. And like, do a little bit of a road trip. I have to be mindful of my family's needs. I always try and put them first. But I'm here. I mean, from my life's perspective, if I was in England at the moment, my life would be costing me a little bit more money than it does here. Accommodation is the biggest expense I have here. And it can be anywhere from 25 to 50 pounds a night, depending on where I'm staying and where I can stay, and the time of the year. When it's holiday times, these places are more expensive. If I was in England, it would be costing me something like similar to that, maybe a little bit more, and other life expenses. So from a how I fund my life at the moment, I am no better or worse off being in England or South Africa. But from a point of reaching people and maybe being able to set some forest fires going in local areas here that lead people to new knowledge that they can carry into the change, then this is what I think would be a good thing to do in the next few months. Coming into the Christmas period here, it's their big school holiday. It's a 6-week holiday normally, I think. Again, I'm not sure exactly where people's level of government intervention will be at that point, but my hope would be that I'm able to remain, very flexible and very mobile and very nimble, very able to reach a big audience very quickly, give out a few hundred flyers in an hour, have a few powerful conversations somewhere, and then move on. And the website that I'm building with Glyph's help, not yet fully functional, but it'll be links to great information from other channels and so on. So this is just really like my website would be like a conduit to my stuff, my story, what I think is going on, but also to other people, really to try and broaden people's horizons, because guys that have been looking at these things for 5 or 10 years or whatever have had the opportunity to kind of work their way through the less qualified information, shall we say. So that's my thing, actually. So I guess I'm putting like a little plea out for you, if you're a supporter